Well, President Trump's sending out part of his holiday wish list this morning. He tweeted, Republicans and Democrats must come together finally with a major border security package, which will include funding for the wall. After 40 years of talk, it's finally time for action. Fix the border for once and for all. So will the president get what he wants? Nelson Balido, Border and Commerce Security Council president, and he joins us now. It's just such an explosive issue, and it's been around for so long. And you wonder what it will take to get this done. The imagery of the caravans coming in, the fentanyl outbreak, and all of the other things. When is the urgency, you think, get there enough for Congress to agree with the president?
Well, you know, I think what you have today is folks that are approaching the border that they want to orderly claim asylum, right? The fear is what's going to happen if they rush the border. I know the president has talked about closing the border, but what happens is you're looking at a $1.6 billion economic fluctuation over the border on a daily basis through economic trade. About 200,000 people cross the border legally, legitimate trade and travel, and it looks at over $1 billion a month in economic impact in Texas on the border and folks that are buying, especially for Christmas, right? Sure. What really needs to look at is how do we secure the southern border of Mexico? We look at the issues that why are people coming over here from Honduras, El Salvador?
Well, they're allowed to go through, though, right? They don't settle in Mexico.
That's correct.
Yeah. So ultimately, then that would be on the Mexican officials.
It's right. So what's happening is the Mexican officials are kind of helping them get to the northern border, their northern border, our southern border. So we need to figure out, not only do we need to secure our border and look at the wall and other things that need to happen, but we need to have rules in place and really pressure the government of Central America and Mexico to do something about their southern border.
How do you pressure them? Because we've talked about withdrawing some of the funding that we send each year. Does that work? Or it doesn't seem like if people are saying, hey, I'm a legitimate asylum seeker, that doesn't matter.
Well, the thing is that it may not matter to a certain extent, because if you approach our border and seek asylum, by law, whether you're on, as soon as you touch U.S. soil, you become an immigration issue, not a border security issue per se. So whether you're crossing in the Rio Grande Valley, whether you're crossing in Tijuana, Mexico, as soon as you touch U.S. soil, even if you hit the wall and the wall's already on U.S. soil, now I have to go around the other side of the wall and arrest you. Right. What that does is give us the opportunity to arrest the individual that is crossing illegally, and then they got to go through the processing. The problem is when they go through the processing is it takes up to 2 to 3 years once they are released in the United States to go to an immigration hearing, which 7 to 8% only show.
So isn't that where we should be focused then? Isn't that where we have some control? Can't we change those laws? Everyone knows what they are. Everyone's gaming them. So why don't we fix that?
We have to fix that. That's exactly what needs to happen. So Republicans and Democrats need to come together and look at the crux of the issue, and that issue is the immigration problem.
Here's the thing, though, because you talked about the economics of closing the border.
Right.
And yet nothing has changed. No one has done anything. It's an issue, and it's a persistent issue. It's an economic issue. It's a crime issue. Again, I worry about some of the things like the fentanyl that crosses over every single day. Maybe sometimes you have to take a drastic step to break the logjam, particularly the indifference that appears to be in Congress, because it's one thing to say something, but when they take no action, administration after administration, party after party, it feels to me really, honestly, that there's an indifference there.
I think President Trump is trying to do something. However, I think you'll see the Democratic Congress blocking that. Right? Because that is a wedge issue that they like to use.
Do you talk to Democrats about this?
I do.
What do they tell you? What's their plan? What's their solution?
Well, it's interesting because they all have different solutions. When you talk to them on one-on-one, they all feel like no one's for illegal immigration. Everybody wants to solve the issue. But when they come together, they just can't agree.
I know I botched your name a little bit at the beginning. Say it properly.
Nelson Balido.
Thank you.
Charles, good to see you. You bet. Thank you.